Good evening, everyone. I hope that you are well. This is day 17, and happy Wednesday to you. This is going to be some amazing journeys that we're going to go through over the next couple of days. I'm super excited, and I'm so grateful for your communications regarding, that you're listening to the CEO challenge, the 30-day challenge. And we're on day 17 already. Wow. The time has gone by super fast. We're in the middle of the week. We're coming into another week. And boy, have I got some really amazing training for you. So please do stay tuned. I want you to hear this because I really do believe that as business owners, we have these challenges, but we have got to overcome them. We cannot let anything stop us from our dream. You got to push forward and look at what you're doing and see it as an opportunity for you to grow. And this is what I want you to really pick up as you're going through your own CEO business and looking at how you're going to handle challenges, because they will come at you. Usually they come at you on a regular basis once you've been going for a while, but you can't let your emotions rule your business. And sometimes, yes, it's hard to do that. And if you feel that, then just stop, take a deep breath, breathe in, and then breathe out, and then just go for a little walk. Walk for, say, 5 minutes, even run, jog, whatever it is you need to do to get it out of you. Dance. I always used to say, what don't kill you makes you stronger. But also one of my mentors is that what don't kill you makes you stronger, but also no weapons formed against you will prosper. And I really do want to push that out today because I feel it's something that is very, very prominent as well. So welcome to day 17 of the CEO 30-day challenge. And boy, have I got some training for you today, and I want you to really get yourself a notepad. Hope you've been journaling every day, because I journal every day. I journal about, being the best that I can be, the best version that I can be, that I am healthy, that I look after myself, and that I have longevity, and that I'm able to overcome any challenges. That is my view. And also for us CEOs to be able to overcome those challenges, because you will be faced with competitors, people that are going to say things, they're just going to do that. That's part of how things are sometimes. But we got to push through and go through those and see them as a challenge and overcome those challenges, and you will get stronger. Believe me, been there, done it, worn the t-shirt. I face challenges on a regular basis, at least once or twice throughout the year, for example. So grab yourself a tea and coffee. See, I've got my tea here. And we shall begin. So, you can comment CEO and let me know that you are here. Grab yourself a tea. I'm going to go straight into it. So day 17 is about business recovery when you're faced with challenges. This is it's really strange, because this is the days, the training, the agenda, for example, are things that I actually created about what I wanted to talk about. And this was like a month ago, what I was going to talk about in my CEO challenge and 30-day CEO challenge. And I think today is really fitting as well, because we do face challenges. And it's okay. We got to push forward with it, because like I said, people will try you out. Things will happen, and things are going to happen which could be a fault of your own or a fault of someone else. And you cannot let it stop you. You've got to be that tree that is stuck firmly in the ground, deep rooted. And that's what happens when you've been in business year after year after year, as long as I have. You're deep rooted, and if that storm hits you, yes, you move and you sway with it. And when that storm passes, you're still standing. And that's how I see that we should be as CEOs. And you are the CEO, and that's how you should be. So today, like I said, is day 17, and it is about business recovery. What do you do when you're faced with challenges? So really what you need to do is to make sure that you as a CEO, that you have a structured plan for navigating and overcoming business challenges. So do a risk assessment. You're assessing the risk. You're adapting your strategies and leveraging resources effectively to recover and emerge even stronger. And sometimes you got to restructure your business. You got to restructure things. You got to restructure and just make sure that you are looking after your company as the CEO. That is your duty, to protect it. So, like I said, you will emerge stronger. See the challenge as an opportunity to grow. And remember, I talked about earlier about the butterfly. The butterfly doesn't just suddenly appear as a butterfly with beautiful colors and wings and lovely, colors, shimmering colors, etc. They don't just appear like that. They have to transform. They are in the cocoon, and in that cocoon, they literally are dissolving themselves as the caterpillar, for example, and then it transforms and creates this beautiful butterfly that then comes out and then shows the world and flies freely. So I just love that, because I think this is also another explanation as a CEO. So, like I said, every business faces hurdles. There's nothing wrong with that. But it can be a financial strain. Life happens, things happen. So it could be a financial strain. It could be that the market changes, or there's operational setbacks, or you've got unexpected crises that happen. The key is that you are resilient and you remain resilient, and having a recovery framework that helps you adapt swiftly and make strategic decisions under pressure. You got to make sure that you've got the right software in place so that when you are checking things, that you can see what is actually happening. Like a fingerprint. Yeah? I'm going to put some things here anyway, but I'm not going to put it here today. If you're part of the membership, you'll get to see what that is. But you need to have systems in place so that you can track things and see what's going on behind the scenes. Because you will find out sooner or later if something is wrong, for example. So, but what you want to do is to be able to create things so that you've got a strategic plan, so that your decisions that you may face whilst under pressure is not going to break you. Yeah? So let's carry on, shall we? So the key steps in business recovery, because do you know, I'll just mention this, 500, in the UK this is 500 business a week go out of business. Worldwide, it's huge, and I'll give you the example there, okay? But that's because they don't have a business recovery plan. If we put a business recovery plan, because every business is prone to failures, every business is prone to bankruptcy, every business is prone to these things, but we've got to look at, and there's billionaires out there that have gone through this bankruptcy and they've bounced back even stronger, for example. So assess the situation. Then you got to identify what the core issue is. and determine what the root cause is of that challenge by investigating, and you get an outside body in to have a look and assess things for you as well. Is it a financial issue? Is it an operational inefficiency? Is it a market shift, for example? Evaluate the impact that this is having. So you want to be able to assess how this issue is affecting different areas of your business, i.e. your cash flow, customer retention, team morale, productivity, for example. Set immediate priorities. Decide which issues need your immediate attention to prevent further impact. This could involve addressing any cash flow issues, cutting costs. You've got to cut costs down immediately, one by one. You want to be able to boost your customer engagement. Listen, I can say that I haven't really been in touch as much as I would love to with my customers, but I am ringing them now. I'm going to be keeping in touch with them because they're special to me. They mean a lot to me because I've been there where they've been, for example, and I want to make sure that we rise together. And yes, sometimes care businesses is difficult. Any business is difficult, and you will face those challenges. But you got to look at what your costs are. I also want to say, you don't want to always believe what you hear, because you've got to look with your eyes and evaluate and assess and speak to all the relevant people to see whether this is what you're seeing, for example. So, financial recovery plan. Hope you can see me. Woo! Hello. Review your cash flow. So you want to conduct a cash flow analysis to understand your financial standing. Identify areas where costs can be reduced or where cash reserves can be increased. Adjust your budget and your spending. Look, the government does it all the time. Big businesses do it all the time. You see it where they lay off people. There's job layoffs because they have to. There's a certain time of the year they got to look at it. They got to look at cutting down costs because they don't want to end up in crisis, and it's good business sense for them to do that. So look at whether you can look at riding the storm during the challenging period. Do you have a cash flow, for example? Because what we need to be doing is to save money. Now, it is hard to do that in today's economy, for example. But by having a system in place, i.e. by cutting down your staffing cost for those staff members that aren't really being productive in your company, then you got to let them go, because it is a waste that you could be putting it to somewhere else. For example, look, I am implementing all these different softwares, and I'm going to be showing you them one by one as well, because we need to start embracing AI and the software, because they're going to be 10 times faster than a person can be. Well, more than 10 times faster, but you know what I mean. We got to look at this, CEOs. We got to look at what these big companies are doing. The repetitive tasks, the things that we don't enjoy doing, then you would get your team members to do that, for example. So, operational assessments, streamline processes, identify and remove inefficient processes to enhance productivity and reduce costs. Automation and outsourcing are key tools for improving efficiency. You want to leverage technology. Invest in technology solutions that improve communication, tracking, and productivity. This looks like, for example, tools that can provide data insights for better decision making. Have tools where you also monitoring as well. So look at revamping your product service offering, for example. Assess whether your current offering aligns with your customers' needs. Adjusting pricing, add services, or enhance quality to meet the demand and to retain your customers. Just drink my tea. So the next thing that you need to look at is engaging with your team. Open communication. Be transparent about challenges with your team. Clear communication builds trust and encourages a sense of shared responsibility. And you want your team members to be responsible for the work that they are assigned to, because they are in charge of the work that they're meant to be doing. Involve key members in your planning. So invite team members that you trust to contribute their insights on the recovery plans that you've got. This helps in generating initiative solutions, innovative solutions, and keeping the team engaged. Offer support and motivation. Provide resources and incentives that support team members through difficult times. Do regular check-ins. Flexible schedules, like for me, for example, having meetings daily online. Or you can do team building exercises that can help to support them. Then you want to also, if there's been an issue, for example, crisis issue or something that's jeopardizing the company, for example, then you've got to communicate. Communicate the changes to your customers. And you also need to let them know of the restructuring that you're possibly doing and the reason for it, and that maybe there's been a situation, a challenge. So you want to be transparent, and this should help to, because we're all human at the end of the day. We're not AI, we're not robots. We can make mistakes, and we have to own up to those mistakes when it is needed. Okay, so it's always good as well to gather feedback, to seek feedback from customers to understand their needs during this period as well. Adjust your service to meet their expectations and to build stronger relationships. It's all about stronger relationships, CEOs. CEOs, you're the leader, then we've got to be creating stronger relationships. Reinforce value. Highlight your commitment to serving customers and solving the problems. You're going to have problems in your business. It's normal to have that, but you've got to offer a solution as well. So reinforcing your value proposition can help reassure your clients and retain business, for example. Believe me, whatever business you're in, care or any other business, you will face challenges and there will be problems. But it's about your communication as well. So you want to set short-term and long-term goals. Your immediate goals should be that you define a quick win to stabilize the business, such as increasing your cash flow, improving efficiency. You may need to reduce your staff, restructure, for example. That's going to create cash flow. Or maintain, and this should maintain customer satisfaction as well. Your long-term goals. Once your stability is achieved, set goals focused on your sustainable growth and crisis proofing the business. This might involve diversifying revenue streams or improving your financial planning by really going through this. Now, listen, this is not in your normal books that you get. And I'm going to be talking to you about the books that's going to talk about these things that you wouldn't normally pick up from college, for example, or university. Okay? I like to use real life experience of businesses that are 8 figures today that are that have gone through challenges, and they still go through those challenges. And that's why it's important to be the CEO, to be your future self, so that when you're faced with these challenges, that you will overcome them. And I say that from the heart. I really, really do mean that. You will overcome them. So, but you've got to look at when this hits. It's like a storm hits, right? And I say a storm. It's like the bad weather hits you and then the weather clears. And then suddenly you see all the debris and the aftermath and loss, for example. But you will build back again, for example. So it will improve your financial planning. Another thing you've got to have is mental resilience and self-care. You've got to look after yourself. You've got to do self-love. You've got to do self-care. You've got to be world-class. Like me, for example, I'm doing 12-hour day at my desk. That's why I walk for 2 hours a day. So I'm not being stagnant, because I don't want to be not exercising enough so that, I end up with problems, and I don't want that. So although I'm at my desk all day, literally, but I do get up and walk around and do, treadmill and, exercising for a short burst, then back to my desk, because I need to do that to build up my mental capacity and resilience, and also to give me thought so I can think clearly rather than be, at my desk here. Self-care. Like I said, I love reading books. So I read books over the weekend, and I will have a Epsom salt bath. Can't beat it. I'll put a bit of Dettol in as well. And all of these things help me so that when I am at my desk, I'm able to give my full attention to what needs to be done in a given moment. I do have a schedule. I do write out, like I said, for the week of what I'm going to be working on in my 90-minute blocks, for example. But I've got to, by me being able to do that, I wouldn't have been able to do it if I didn't have the mental resilience and the self-care routine. Now, I'm not saying go off to a spa or anything. I'm not saying that. I'm saying by just looking after yourself. You can even be just sitting there reading, or even just sitting there quietly, just listening. See what comes to you, what flows to you. And you want to get rid of negative energy, because you haven't got time for that. If you're going to build a strong business, then you haven't got time for that. And people will try and pull you down. They will. But you've got to be resilient. So find a coach, a mentor like me, and having someone to discuss your challenges with can provide emotional support and also a fresh perspective as well. So, action plan for your business recovery. This is key. I'm just going to drink my tea. So, immediate action checklist. Identify the core challenges and set immediate priorities. Now, if you need to speak with authorities regarding this, then do so. Because if it's a breach of data, GDPR, for example, is worldwide. So no country is exempt from it. It's worldwide. So check. And if it's something that you as a CEO needs to report, then you must report it and provide a report with that as well. Upload it and send it. Okay? That you believe that this has happened. Your data officer will be able to do this. So what is the action list, checklist? It all depends what the crisis is, for example, and then you would then need to act accordingly by following an immediate action checklist. Now, like I said, for me, I'm doing this training today, and this is something that I built and talked about and planned a month ago. So it's always good to do your due diligence and to have an action plan, a action checklist for business recovery. Every business needs that, because believe me, there'll be lots of ways that you can be attacked. So you got to protect the company. So you need to communicate the changes with the team and the customers. Conduct a cash flow analysis and adjust the budget. So you need to be looking at what the budget is, for example. But sometimes you get things that are unexpected, that you didn't expect to happen. And that can cause a crisis as well. So mid-term adjustments. Streamline your operations. Leverage automations. I will highly recommend that you get automation systems in, so that because there's, as CEOs, there's actually things that you can do yourself by having the software, which will be done in a matter of minutes rather than days and weeks. Why would we want to spend out that amount of money when we can look at software? And then you can then just have one person, for example, to, operate it, if that software needs that. All depends really. So, like I said, you want to ensure that you gather feedback from your customers and adjust services as needed, because see it as a learning curve. When you contact your customers, you see what's lacking, and then you make sure that that can be added in to your business, for example. Long-term resilience strategy. Develop a crisis-proof strategy. Diversify your revenue and build cash reserves. Now, I mentioned about when you rely on one income stream, one government, for example, I'm just using this as an example, then if they decide not to use you anymore, then that's it, you've lost your revenue, correct? Secondly, if you was to get multiple different businesses that are related to what you do, so it's like a cogwheel, they all work well together, then you will be fine. Okay? When you also look at your cash reserves, i.e. look at hiring, for example, PAs, VAs, for example, we have a virtual assistant agency and we can provide that service, which will save you a lot of money, but make sure, be careful who you use. I personally, for example, there's lots of different ones, but I would recommend ourselves, for example, and I'm just plugging that because I'm here and I'm going to do that. It makes sense. So, but what's so different with us is that we monitor, we do training for 8 weeks, we ensure that people have got DBSs, CRBs. We have their addresses. We also have their emails. We also have their identification to make sure that they are the person that they say they are. So you can be rest assured that we have this information so that if anything goes wrong, we know where to go, for example. So focus on leadership, your development, and strengthening the team's adaptability. Hope you're enjoying this. If you are enjoying this, please do like and subscribe to this channel so that you can get further training on the CEO 30-day challenge. This is the important thing of doing the subscribe, because you will get updates, because I will be talking about healthcare businesses, but I'll also be talking about business as well. So it's not just one thing, for example, because at the end of the day, even though you may have a healthcare business, you may want to do other business types as well. So some reflection questions here, and I want you to write this down. So what was the main issue that you needed to address today? So there's a crisis, for example. Then think about, what solutions did I implement to address the challenge? So you may have looked at, okay, I've spoken with various organizations, for example. What insights or areas emerged during this process? So what is it that came up that you saw that needed attention? How did this experience strengthen your resilience as a CEO? So I want you to write the answers to this question, for example, these questions. So the next slide is whereby I talk about, when you're looking at your business, for example, what is it that you're offering? You've done the reflection, so you're now looking at the end of day evaluation. So look at what your business achievements are. What was the biggest win today that you had with addressing the challenge itself? What did you get from it? What was the win for you? What lessons did you learn? What did you learn from this experience? So what I want to know is, what are your immediate actions? And I will continue this path tomorrow of your path to recovery. So I hope that you've enjoyed today. I know it's been a bit longer. Sorry that I was slightly late. I was trying to log in, and I just want you to think about your business recovery strategy. What are you going to do to grow and increase your business? Because if we don't think about this as CEOs, as business leaders, then we're not going to know what to do. It's like, not knowing what to do when something happens that could be bad to your company. What are you going to do? You don't want to just whinge and moan. You take action. You do what you need to do. You type your emails. You send letters out. You make calls. You pick up the phone. Just pick the phone up and call and speak to people. Speak to your customers. They want to hear from you. And this is what I really want to push through, is that we are reacting in a positive way. We're not reacting emotionally in a negative way and, just sort of not doing anything. Be empowered. See it as climbing the Mount Everest, because when you get to the top, boy, you feel good. You feel good when you overcome a challenge. And I will tell you this myself. You feel good because you've grown and you've developed. Although it was painful, don't get me wrong, it was painful, for example, but you have grown from it. You've learnt from it, for example. So I also want to say is like when you go to the gym, right? You go to the gym to exercise, don't you? And if you don't exercise and you're at the gym and you're just looking at the equipment, you're not going to grow. You're not going to get muscles, are you? They're not going to get stronger. You're not going to get stronger, for example. And business is just like this. You're going to face a challenge like if you want a challenge to lose weight, if you want a challenge to eat healthy, if you want a challenge to grow and to become your higher self, you've got to look from within and nurture yourself, look after yourself from within, because we do all face challenges, and it's how we handle that challenge that makes it, you turn into a leader, because you've been able to handle that challenge. And although it might not have been nice, you have overcome that challenge, and you can improve and grow your business and live that vision that you want for your business, so that you are feeling fulfilled, that you're feeling holiness, because it's not about the money, it's about the freedom that money can give you. Like for me, for example, I live in Cyprus, and I would not have had that freedom if I didn't plan it. I mean, I planned it for 15 years. I mean, my goodness, that was a long time, to move to Cyprus, but it's something I wanted to do. It was a challenge because it was during COVID time in 2020, for example, and my flight got cancelled 3 times. But I persevered. I had a strategy, and you know what that strategy was? I bought 4 plane tickets, and I got on 1 plane because that one didn't cancel. That was my strategy. That was my crisis plan, because we were due to move out in February 2020, and then all these planes just kept getting cancelled. Flights getting cancelled, understandably. But I had a strategy. If I just listened, I would have just stayed there for one lockdown after another. So, I moved to Cyprus because it is safer. And, the environment is better for me and my family. And I think it's important that when we're planning a strategy, whether you're planning to move to, America, or whether you're planning to move to the Caribbean, then plan. Do a strategy. Plan it. Okay? So I hope that you've enjoyed today's training. For example, for the course, for the 30-day CEO for elite performers. And today was about day 17, business recovery when you're faced with challenges. So I hope that you've enjoyed today's training, everyone, and I hope you're having a blessed day. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you tomorrow on the internet. Thank you. Goodbye.